A zoom transition is a super dynamic transition using the z-axis. In a 2D space like After Effects, one of the ways we can achieve this is through transforming scale. I'm going to make my layers last until the end of the last layer. Select all of the layers and use the O hotkey to skip to the end. Use the Trim keyboard shortcut, Option bracket out on a Mac, bracket out on a PC. Here are a few things to make sure of so that your zoom transition looks as good as it can. Usually a center zoom is desired. If the anchor point is not in the center of the object, it will scale out lopsidedly. I'm going to center the anchor point in the layer content. Control-click or right-click on the shape. From the menu, select Transform, Center Anchor Point in Layer Content. Align all the layers in the composition by using the vertical and horizontal align tool in the Align menu. Let's create our first zoom transition using Scale. Use the S hotkey to bring up the scale property of each layer. Create a 10-frame overlap from your outgoing layer to your incoming layer. In the span of the overlap, create 2 keyframes on each layer. In the incoming layer, the scale is 0 to 100%. In the outgoing layer, the scale is 100 to 600%. Let me explain. The outgoing layer is going to become our background, so it'll go from 100% to much larger, filling the frame 600%. The incoming layer keyframes are 0 to 100%, so that it transforms and becomes visible as the outgoing shape layer becomes our background. I repeated the same process on the next shape. Now let's add some nuance to our animation. Box select all of the keyframes by clicking and dragging your mouse across them. Use the F9 Easy Ease shortcut to make them Easy Ease. Select the Graph Editor view. In the Graph Editor, make sure the speed graph is the one you are editing. Then drag the first keyframe all the way to the right so that the action is slow, then fast. On my second transition, I'm going to add some more dynamic animation principles. These principles will give your transition a little bounce. On the outgoing shape, I'll add a little drawback, anticipating the action, gathering, then the zoom. I advanced the keyframes forward of the first keyframe and scaled it back to 80%. This is the drawback. Then the action zooms out. On the incoming layer, I made the second keyframe 120%, 0 to 120%. Then I advanced a few keyframes forward and returned it to 100%. Here are both methods in action. The zoom transition is a super dynamic way to transition between objects, no matter their size, shape, or color.